Hey, what's going on, you guys? So today's video is going to be a little bit different. There's just so many great stocks to be covering right now and not enough time. So in this video, I just wanted to cover 4 of my favorite stocks right now that I've outlined here on this Google Doc. The first of which is NNDM. Then we'll cover Bitcoin, RIOT, and Mara, the golden trio that has had a pretty rough week, to say the least. Bitcoin also, threw us a little bit of a curveball that I will talk about in a bit. I also want to cover Sorrento. It did pop off. I've been waiting for this for so long, guys, so we will talk about this. And lastly, I want to cover my all-time favorite stock, SPCE, that's Virgin Galactic. This could be the ultimate 100x right here, and I will talk about this later on in the video. All right, so without further ado, let's kick it off with NNDM. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video, I basically rationalized my beliefs on a short-term 2x and a long-term 10x. I will have that video linked in the description, and I do cover more of the fundamentals and go into depth. But to put it as simply as possible, Nano Dimension has built the technology to build future technology. I'm super bullish on it, guys. I love what they're doing, and I'll leave it at that. And now, as promised, I will take you guys through my portfolio and show you guys exactly how I will be playing it. So here it is, and as you guys can see, I do have some short-term options expiring within a month, even within 2 months, so I am heavily banking on that 2x within that time period. And afterwards, I do plan on reinvesting those profits right back into longer-term option contracts. Now, it sucks that we don't have any options for next year just yet, but as soon as those come out, I definitely will be adding those to my position as well. Now, in terms of price action, we totally call this breakout here, guys, this bull flag or double bottom, bottom 1, bottom 2, however you guys decided to play this. It definitely worked out to the upside. And honestly, guys, if Nano Dimension had not diluted their shares yet again, we probably would have continued ripping until we came up and tested this 1250 historical line of resistance. Also, guys, keep in mind that there are more dilutions to come. I mean, I've been noticing that every time that we come up and set a new high for NNDM, they decided to raise more capital. So in my personal opinion, it is a bullish sign. Like the fact that they keep adding cash to their already strong balance sheet. And last I checked, they had about $650 million. And now they probably have closer to $1 billion in just cash waiting to be used. And so I have a strong feeling, and this is pretty bullish to me in my opinion. But I have a strong feeling that they will be using this cash to initiate the catalyst within the next several months. And I definitely did talk about these catalysts in the last video I posted. But these catalysts is number 1, a potential acquisition, or number 2, marketing for the product for when the pandemic rolls over. So again, ARK definitely believes in this too, because they just keep on adding to their NNDM position. If we take a quick look at the ARQ ETF, we can see that Nano Dimension is now in the 14th spot in their holding, which was just literally at 19 less than a week ago. So in my opinion, this will easily become the number 1 stock on the RQ ETF. And yes, that's to say that, and as much as I hate to say it, it probably will replace Tesla. It will beat Tesla, at least in this particular ETF. So I firmly believe that this is ARK's big play. And also, guys, I'm just sold on this company. I love everything about it and everything they're doing. And so therefore, this is one of my bigger plays for 2021. Okay, moving on to Bitcoin, RIOT, and Mara. This week has been a chaotic week for this trio, and Bitcoin had a pretty big SIKE moment, which that I will cover in just a second. And guys, just know that as much as I wanted to keep you guys updated on what I was doing involving these 3, the honest truth was I really wasn't doing much. I sold nearly about 80% of my Mara and RIOT positions, and I'm left with what you guys are currently seeing right now. But yeah, for the most part, I was just sitting back and observing the panic, the mayhem. So like I said it so many times, guys, as I did in my last few videos, when there is a lot of hype, greed, and FOMO in the market, it's so important that you as a trader stays rational. And the way we do that is simply just by sticking to our price targets. Now, I don't want to set any short-term price targets for RIOT and Mara in this video, just because of how chaotic the price is right now. But just know that long term, I am looking for $100+ RIOT and Mara. So I actually, however, do want to show you guys this pretty big SIKE moment in Bitcoin. I do believe it's a pretty good example of where technical analysis, no matter how good you are at it, won't always be correct or at least play out perfectly as you plan. All right, so taking a look at the Bitcoin 4-hour chart, we can see that Bitcoin was evidently playing out a head and shoulders pattern. We can see the left shoulder right here, and I will delete this so you guys can see it better. This is the left shoulder right here, formed the head, and then the right shoulder, in which case we were expecting a pullback down to about this level. So if this pattern had played out, which a lot of people were expecting, we would have came down to this about $23,000 level. Now Bitcoin obviously did not do that. It's pretty much a SIKE right here and took off to about 40K. It has since then came back down. And honestly, guys, there's just so many patterns that you can be playing this by, and that's why TA is such a difficult thing to do. It's just there's so many this patterns within patterns, and this is an example right here. So instead of forming the head and shoulders that we thought it would, it actually formed a double bottom. So basically higher low right here, and so this did break out to the upside. And so what ended up happening was that it reached 40K, and then it has since came back down. And yet again, we actually might be seeing another pattern. So this could be now the left shoulder now this could be the head, and now we could be seeing the beginning of a formation of a right shoulder right here, in which case we would pull back down to this is the neckline right here, so we would pull down to about right here, which is the $30,000 mark. I will be sure to go ahead and keep you guys updated on RIOT and Mara price targets, which their prices will definitely reflect. I do think that if it does pull back to about $30,000, we can see about RIOT and Mara pull back maybe 20 to 30%. In which case, that is where I'm going to be picking up the majority of my shares and reestablishing my position. So in short, Bitcoin basically did the opposite of what many were predicting, and therefore I don't feel comfortable in trying to predict what Bitcoin is going to do next, at least in the very short term. I mean, for all we know, this actually might end up completing the head and shoulders pattern, which is obviously an abnormally right shoulder right here. So there is one possibility right there. But guys, a few months from now, I'm calling mid-February, early March, we will see that 50K Bitcoin. But for right now, I will be sitting back on this one for at least a few days, looking for a comfortable buy-in area for RIOT and Mara, which I will keep you guys updated on. All right, moving on. Sorrento. After quite some time, it has finally seen the love it deserves, and I'm super stoked to be talking to you guys about this one. Guys, I can't even begin to tell you how undervalued Sorrento is right now. The fundamentals are like perfect, and their financials are looking even better, which I will explain more in just a second. Now, you guys may not be as excited as I am, but guys, I mean, I bought this stock like at $4. I rode the wave all the way to the peak of $21, and I barely took any profits. So I have been waiting on this moment for what seems like almost years, but even though it's like really only been a couple months. So I'm finally in the green, and to be honest, the only reason I was down in Sorrento so far was because I might have forgot to close some put credit spreads and was therefore forced to buy a lot of shares at $10. But since then I have been averaging down, and it's definitely paying off now. Now that aside, I did want to share two pieces of bullish news. The first of which, Sorrento is expecting a $2 billion revenue just for quarter four. And to put that into perspective, Sorrento's total market cap is just over $2 billion. So that's crazy. And if that doesn't scream undervalued to you, then I don't know what will. But don't just take my word for it. There are many analysts out there saying that, we will see that $30 Sorrento, and it doesn't seem too crazy at all. Now, taking a look at the chart one last time, you can see that we did break out of this downtrend right here on the 30th of November 2020, and we have since capitulated sideways. And in that time, Sorrento has created this triple bottom, which has served as a very, very solid floor for quite some time now. For the span of several weeks, I was quite honestly getting impatient. So when I did see this triple bottom and this pattern playing out the other day, I knew it was only a matter of time before it broke out. So we still have a long way to go before we see that $30 Sorrento. But in the short term, guys, I do believe that we can come up and break this solid 10-15 line of resistance. And then we have a decent chance of at least coming up to test this 1250, and then hopefully break out to the $20+ region on the news of Sorrento's fourth quarter earnings. So I will keep you guys also updated on this stock, on price targets, and just news in general. So definitely stay tuned for that. All right, guys, last but not least, I want to wrap this video up with my all-time favorite stock, and that would be Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. If you guys haven't already heard of this stock, definitely be sure to add it to your watch list, as this will be a huge stock in the coming months, in the coming years. And I can't even begin to say how much of a fan I am of this company, not only because I love Richard Branson just as much as I love Elon Musk. I mean, these are just the two greatest people I personally look up to, and their companies, SPCE and SpaceX, are just two incredible things that their brilliance has brought to fruition. But the main reason I'm excited for SPCE is simply because I'm a diehard fan for space and space tourism, and I just believe so much in the future of space tourism. It is projected to be a $4 trillion industry in the future, and just thinking about it gets me excited, gets me hyped, guys. Also, on a side note, please be sure to check out Virgin Galactic's website. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. It's one of the coolest landing pages I've ever personally seen. They definitely are setting the bar high right here, figuratively and quite literally too. Honestly, guys, if their test flight hadn't failed a couple of months ago, SPCE would be at the $50 region right now. So yes, I won't give you the full rundown on SPCE in this video, but I am saving that for a later video. Just because I want to take my time to explain it. Also, I did want to cover the single most bullish news regarding SPCE and just really all space stocks out there. And you guys might have heard of this, but that's that Cathie Wood just announced that ARK Invest will be creating a brand new space ETF. So props to Cathie Wood. This is definitely a step in the right direction. Another two space-related stocks that you might want to check out is Maxar Technologies, ticker symbol MAXR, and then Aerojet Rocket, ticker symbol AJARD. I will cover these in a separate video. Now, following ARK's news of creating this new ETF, we did see some pretty significant price action in space-related stocks. Now, looking at the 4-hour chart of SPCE, we can see that it absolutely popped off. It also has came back down, unfortunately, but I do believe that this is just the beginning. I mean, guys, this is a sleeping giant, which is so much upside potential. Personally, this is my big long-term play, like for the next few years, and I do believe that in the short term, we will come back up to test this line of resistance right here that is set not too long ago, right after its IPO in early 2020. If it does break this line soon, I do think that we will continue to climb towards the $100 mark and beyond in the next few months and years to come. So that wraps up this video, guys. Be sure to stay tuned for more videos in which I'll cover all these 10x stocks in more depth, along with some short-term price targets for my swing traders out there. If you guys did enjoy this video, please drop me a like. I would definitely appreciate that a lot. And with that said, guys, take care, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.